Hi there. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to another little edition of, oh, 'tis the season. I'm doing a bit more work today on, or at least this morning, on Mrs. Cratchit's book. I'm so happy with how it's turning out. Last time we were together, we were putting these corners on. Hold on, I'll stand back up again. This is very challenging, trying to stay in camera with a book that's 14 inches tall. It just is very challenging. But we got those corners done. I love how they turned out. There's the back ones. I finished them off camera. And they are on there good and secure. And I'm really happy with this spine. I'm so happy with it's so ugly, it's beautiful, right? Those of us who love this look, I love this look so that it doesn't look perfect. It looks wonderfully worn. Anyhow, I just want to do something inside here, and I thought that I'd show you what I'm doing and why. If you recall, I hand stitched the hinges here. They're the thinner and floppier area so that your covers are attached to your spine. And if I could have fit this in under my sewing machine to all the way over to the needle, I would have sewn it with my sewing machine. I had to do it by hand, which is fine. I think that's quite appropriate to have some hand stitching in here. But I did a running stitch. And here's my concern that I want to make sure. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the inside because here's the top of those running stitches. And I'm just worried if one of them gets snagged or maybe wear and tear of use. I don't know. It's just my little insurance policy. Because it's a running stitch, if one of them on the top here breaks, and you can't see them very well, it's quite camouflaged into that lace, that it could encourage it to unravel because it's just simply a running stitch. So what I plan on doing is, and it's very similar to when we sew a text block together, when we hand sew it together, we will imagine if this cover didn't exist. We've just got the text block and you've sewn them all in, and you'll see your threads at the center of all your signatures. And if you flip it over, imagine, not here, this side where all your threads are looking all neat and tidy, or maybe a little messy, but no one's going to see it eventually. We will run a layer of glue down there. And what that does is it holds all those, whether you've done a pamphlet stitch or a running stitch, it holds them all in place. And that way, say we open it up and say there's 3 loops here, you've done a 6-hole stitch. If one loop breaks, because it's been glued on the back, these other 2 will be fine. They won't necessarily unravel and come out because you have, oh, look at that, a little note in there. I'm going to be using this book. Because you've run some glue down the back, it secures your stitches in a way as individual stitches rather than running stitches. So this is just one long running stitch. So I want to secure it. It'll just take a second because I'm not sure. I don't know yet whether I'm going to be putting a hidden hollow back spine in here. And if that's the case, this might not get glue on it again. I might not get the chance to glue it again. Or else I might be just filling it in with fabric again and having this just as a flat base and then putting my pages in other ways into it, because it's going to sort of be like a quasi lap book sort of thing. Let me make sure I'm in. I am. Okay. I want to make sure I've got a little silicone makeup brush. So I'm going to take a second right now and just do it. And I'm just going to run a bead of, this is just 3-in-1, and I'm just going to run it along these stitches that I put in. And then I'm going to mash them in with my little silicone makeup brush. You could use your finger if you want. My skin on my fingertips is starting to get kind of sore from all the glue that I've been rolling off my fingers for the past few weeks. So I've been trying to get books ready and out so that they can be in new hands in time for Christmas. But now it's 1st of December, and I just don't think there's any chance that this book would make it anywhere by Christmas. So I'm going to surrender to it, and I'm just going to use this as my December daily. I'm just going to relax and enjoy making Mrs. Cratchit's holiday household book. And then, like I said, right now I'm so in love with it. I may keep her, or I may put her into my Etsy shop. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I'm not going to decide till later. And if I do, then she'll probably go in later. And if she hangs around there for a year until somebody maybe next November decides that they'd like Mrs. Cratchit's holiday household book, well then, you know what? That'll be fine. I really think that this book is going to be my December daily this year. I won't be doing a December daily in the way I did last year, although I had so much fun doing my December dailies last year and just documenting my memories of happy Christmases that I recall. Christmases from myself as a child and Christmases of when I was a mother, so my children's Christmases, just a few. I tried to have a spattering of different Christmases in my book that I did. I'm looking for tweezers. There it is. And the very few memories that I recall of stories that my parents told me of their Christmases. I threw a few of those in because that's, in a way, firsthand knowledge. Right? What have you done? Catherine, what have you done? I just want to get this thread out of here. I don't know whether it'll make a difference, but I'm getting it out. There we go. All right. So, yeah, that's already dry. And that's awesome. So that, I feel a little better. Might not make a difference, but it might. So that will hold these secure. So in case one loop breaks, the rest of them, they're fine. So you know what? Some of the work I have to do today is quite tedious, and it's not camera worthy. Because I want to put, where are they? I want to put some of the original signatures back into this book, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'm not sure whether I'm going to make one text block like this and put it here, but still have it flippable, and then use this side to put tuck spots, and I want this to be a tip out and maybe some more pages in here. Not sure yet. I'm hoping that it will talk to me and tell me what to do. I also have a fun little thing. And where did it go? It's gone. And I'm not sure whether I'll use it either. Oh, there it is. I have this old checkerboard game. I don't know how old it is. I love this. Hold on, let me show you. They've lost one of the black men, and there was a button in there. And it's green and red. Like, come on, that's got to go into a Christmas journal. But I wasn't sure how I was going to pull this off. And I've had this for quite a while. Found it at one of my thrift stores. Oh, here's the little board. Let me show you. Look, isn't that cute? And that was in there like this. But I thought if I could, all the sides are all broken. I thought if I could fortify those corners, the snaps still work. So I wondered, and it's the right width, I wondered whether it was too thick or whether I could put that into the book to maybe hold pens. Let me find a pen and see. Oh yeah, that would work. Pencils, pens, a little eraser. That could be like a little to hold and then snap it shut. I just think that that might be a cool thing. I'm not sure what I would do with this or all these little guys. Let's see. We'll wait for the inspiration, right? So I'm thinking about maybe doing that with that. I'm also thinking I'd like to make either some flip outs or maybe some tuck spots. I have these business file folders that I found thrifting once, and I decided to it's got all the alphabets on them, all the letters of the alphabet. So I chose S and M because, again, I'm always imagining that maybe Bob is squirreling away some papers that were destined to go into the wood stove for heat, and I imagined that maybe there were file folders for some of Scrooge's clients and file folders for Marley's clients, and that they just had lots of these file folders for all the mortgages that they held. And so that's why I chose S and M on purpose. Now I'm trying to decide. They're not long enough. I'm sad. I was hoping maybe to run them down the side. They're not long enough. But I could shorten them and have them this way, and maybe have them flip down, or I'm thinking maybe put a gusset in so it's a really good tuck spot. I'm not sure yet. Again, I'm hoping that it will speak to me. Now, I want this to stay nice and smooth. So here again is the tedious work that I have ahead of me this morning. I need to ink these and make them look old with ink. And I think that's also what I'm going to do with these. I am not going to put them in a tea bath. I don't want them to get all buckly and wrinkly. I want them to stay smooth, but I want them to look old. And I think that's going to take a lot of ink. And it's not exciting. So that's the plan there. Now I have plans for end papers for this book, just to cover this. And I'm not sure yet how I'm going to work it. I'm imagining that because it's such a big book, the likelihood of Mrs. Cratchit having a great big sheet of paper like this simply to use decoratively would not have happened. She would have used such a big piece of paper for something more sensible than decorating. So I do have some scrapbook paper, and I thought I might piece together backgrounds. So I might use some of it, cut this down, and then that's where I could put a pocket down here, or I could put another piece of paper and tear the edge so that she's done a bit of collaging to make it all come together. So, and I have two pieces of this. It's not Christmas paper, and I'm glad it's not. I really want to try my best to make a lot of this look Christmassy without it specifically being Christmas as we know it. Like this fabric is not Christmas fabric, but it looks Christmassy. And the book itself is green because it just was green. And again, this is green and red just because that's the way it came. It's perfect. This is faded old red, and I think as a tip out, it's going to look really cool. I just love this cover. And the back is pretty too. So even if I only use the top part as the tip out, I can use this back one somewhere else. I'm excited about that, about the options for that. Anyhow, so I like that these, they almost look like old wallpaper. You know, like maybe for a while they were living in one, they were renting a few rooms. You usually only rented rooms. Even a whole family would live in a 2-room rental. I know I found that on the censuses for my own families that lived in Camden Town in London. My one great-grandparents who had 11 children, they were renting 2 rooms in a house in Camden Town. So the 2 parents and 11 children. Oh my goodness. And people complain now, well, every child needs to have their own room. Well, you know what? Some of our ancestors survived. Maybe not happily, but they didn't know any different. It was, I'm going off on a tangent, but my brain does that, I love history, and I love when I can personalize history and try and figure out how my ancestors lived. Now I have this book, the Victorian Book of Cakes. Found it in Fort Lauderdale. We went down for a cruise. We got there 2 days early, and my sweetie pie rented a car and said, come on, we'll find all the thrift stores for you. And he did. And I got this for $2, and it's huge. It weighs a ton, and I had to carry it on the ship and off again. So it was totally worth it. The illustrations are so pretty in this book. And it's got old recipes and advertisements. Look at these. And I know I've shown you this before, but this is worth looking at again. Isn't that pretty? Battenberg cake. Yum. And it's got old advertisements. So I found one that I like. I found an advertisement that I like. So I imagine that maybe, again, paper, scarce, rare. Our ancestors loved pretty things, even when it was an advertisement. You know, getting a calendar from the pharmacist. If it was pretty, they hung on to it because it was pretty. And I saw this here. It's a reprint of an ad. And it mentions Christmas crackers here and Christmas down here. So I imagine, you know what, maybe she was walking down the street and this went fluttering by at her feet. And she picked it up and just thought, wow, that's pretty. I could never shop there, but isn't that pretty? And she just tucked it away, and maybe she would use that. I'm thinking maybe to find a way to fit that on the back, and she glued that in as part of a new end paper. And again, I would have to find ways to make this bigger, but I think in a way that's good, because she wouldn't have had necessarily a big sheet like that. And you're probably thinking, but Catherine, maybe she could have used one of the leftover pages that were in the book that Bob brought home. Yeah, I guess she could. I don't think she would waste a big, huge blank piece of lined paper to make end papers. I think she would have found another way. So I do think that my task this morning is not exciting. And I hate to not give you 30 minutes, but I'm just going to be I'm going to be inking papers this morning, and I'm going to be inking, hold on. I'm going to be inking these things to make them look old. And I'm going to be figuring out my plan of attack for this center of the spine, whether I'm simply going to cover it up, and I'll probably still use more of this fabric. I still have a bit more. This is what I've got left. And I think I will probably maybe run some of this down that spine from the inside so that I can make this laptop with tip outs, and then find a way to still put in my pages. So that maybe they're in the center, or I don't know. I got thinking to do. I've got planning to make. So that's why it's just not, you'd grow cobwebs if I left my camera going today. That's just what it is. So I'm going to wish you a happy 1st of December. I've got my little screen here, and I'm going to start watching other people's December dailies videos. I'm very much looking forward to that, so I'm going to start doing that. And I will probably be back on, maybe, I'm hoping maybe tomorrow, and show you what I got done today. It might be boring, but it might be exciting. Maybe I'll be ready. Maybe I'll have decided what my plan of attack is for the inside of this book. Let's hope. So we got one thing done. We glued down these stitches. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your December 1st, or whatever day it is when you get around to watching this. I hope it's a good one for you, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.